Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today's paddle, heading out into Fern Lake. We'll see what this big body of water is all about. Let's go. I don't know if the camera's picking this up, but the loons here on Fern Lake are just going nuts. They are shut. As soon as I put the kayak in at the launch, there was a loon right there and diving. And now over by the launch there are like 3 loons that I can see. And there's a bunch over here. Just had an eagle fly by me. That was pretty cool. But pretty decent. Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. Well, this is Fern Lake, and when I first looked this lake up, I was getting many of the same results that I was getting when I looked up Loon Lake. A lot of VRBO, home away, Airbnbs, Adirondack vacation by owner, getting a lot of those on here. So I was thinking when coming here after going to Loon Lake that this lake might be a repeat of Loon Lake. Loon Lake was not my favorite to paddle because of all the boat activity. I mean, there was just a lot of boat activity, a lot of wake to go through, and but this is a lot calmer than Loon Lake. A lot calmer. There's one boat over here, the guy's fishing. There was a boat towing an inner tube over here. That's about it. There's nothing else out here. But trying to look up any history of this lake, J&J Rogers Company, which I mentioned in my Taylor Pond video, kept coming up. They were started by brothers John and James Rogers, who they were businessmen. They owned mercantile shops in Clintonville and here in Blackbrook, and they were very keen businessmen. So I guess in 1837, when they had the Great Panic, the national market crashed for iron ore. They always have something, you know, the Great Depression of the 30s, the Great Recession of 2007-8. So there's always a great something with the market. Well, anyways, they were keen enough to buy the Sable Iron Company, Iron Ore Company, I think, Iron Works, maybe it was. And so by their business experience and their knowledge of the area, they turned the company around into started making money off it. In order to get the iron to sell, they built their own foundries here, in which they had to cut a lot of the timber to fund for those foundries. And I guess at one point in time, I guess a couple times during the history of this company, they completely cut all the trees around the Fern Lake here. They continued with the iron company until the 1880s, when iron became cheaper out in the Midwest. Transportation costs from the Adirondacks were just too steep, so instead of filing for bankruptcy, they ceased operations in 1889. But in the 1890s, they started pulp, and they started the logging operations. And again, they cleared the trees out here and around Fern Lake and Sable and all the way down to Whiteface, and you know, they did the dam there at Taylor Pond. I told you about in mid-1920s, so they could control the levels on the Sable River to float the logs down through. And they were continued operations. Operations were up and down for them until about 1955, when against the wishes of the Rogers family, their stocks were sold to a New York City businessman who liquidated the company out piece by piece, and the company was closed for good. I think the paper mill closed for good up here in 1971, and a lot of the trees are all grown back, and the scars from their iron operations and their timber operations are long grown over. And so that's Fern Lake. Yesterday I was on Moose Pond, and we're under a heat advisory yesterday. And today it's not as hot, probably because we had a storm roll through last night. We had about midnight started thundering, and so I went out and I picked up things around my site, got clothes off the line, and pulled my awning in just in case there was any wind. There wasn't much wind. There was rain, thunder and lightning, heavy thunder and lightning, but there was no wind, and that I heard anyways. And but it rained pretty good, and that kind of cooled things off a little bit. Today it's about 80, 81. Still a little bit humid, but I would say the real feel is probably right around 84. Still a good day to be out on the water paddling, but like I said, I was kind of thinking that this lake might be like Loon Lake. Not even close. I have the only motor I hear running is a lawnmower over here. Guy mowing his yard. There's a fisherman over here fishing off a boat. But yeah, this is peaceful here. Not bad. There's a lot of camps and houses and RVs along the shore here. So, all right, folks, you watched all the way through. Thanks for that. If you liked the video, make sure to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, click the subscribe button down below. Continue to follow the adventure. And remember, folks, tomorrow is no guarantee for any one of us. So disconnect from that Wi-Fi, connect to this out here. You won't be disappointed.